The NFL Scouting Combine is over, and Lions fans everywhere are jumping up and down about we need to get this guy, that guy, just like every NFL team. You've watched now 3 different versions of our mock draft, and I'm going to say this to you. You're not going to expect what we're going to say for Lions Talk Live, where the Lions should go with their first round picks. In fact, a lot of things are going to be changed based on what came out of this weekend, plus some calculating with our financial future for the Detroit Lions and salary cap implications. So without further ado, let's talk about all these things and maybe just a little bit more in today's mock draft 3.5 version of Lions Talk Live. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for tuning in for this version of Lions Talk Live Mock Draft 3.5. The NFL Scouting Combine can either make somebody's future or potentially gravely damage their financial futures. Whatever it may be, the Lions are in a position that I think is growing and growing in their favor. That number 6 pick, because of Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and quarterback desperate teams, are becoming more and more advantageous for the Detroit Lions. You're going to see some things that you've never seen before in our mock draft simulations, and all of it is going to be because of the hype machine and the results of a number of young promising players that have risen up the draft board and the hype throughout the entire NFL. So without further ado, let's get this thing going. Let's kick some things off. I am going to talk about different scenarios where we're projecting in free agency or trades or whatever, this player or that player went to that team, and that's why somebody wasn't drafted here or there. But let's get, you guys all tuned in for this, so let's get into the NFL mock draft right now. All right, well, let's get into the first round as it kicks off. Probably no real big surprises here. The Colts trade up with Chicago. They get the number 1 overall pick and take Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud goes next to the Texans. Will Anderson and Jalen Carter to Arizona and Chicago, respectively, with Seattle taking Miles Murphy. And as the Lions are getting ready to pick, the phone rings. A trade has been proposed. Trade offers come in, and let's get into that. So we get some breaking news as the trade details are revealed. The Carolina Panthers have called up. They want pick 6, and they're going to give the Detroit Lions pick 9, 39, 61, and 132. This is a competitive situation, so at least one other team called. Carolina knew about it, so they wanted to go all in. And with the number 6 pick, they take Will Levis, the quarterback. This sets up the Detroit Lions and a few other teams, and let's get into the next couple picks. So just at number 7, we have Christian Gonzalez going to Las Vegas. Yes, I'm sure most people are thinking that they would go quarterback, but we are projecting here at Lions Talk Live that Aaron Rodgers is going to be landing for the black and silver. He's going to be their quarterback, and with his salary cap, they probably don't have the room to really invest a first-round pick at this time in a quarterback. So they go Gonzalez there. We have Atlanta taking Paris Johnson Jr., and then here's the surprise. I know you're already seeing it on the screen. The Detroit Lions have selected at number 9, Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. I know people are going to be wondering why, and here's our wisdom and thinking on this selection. Jared Goff has got roughly 2 years left here in Detroit. Goff, while he's been great for the franchise, he's many things. He's helped us win. He's revitalized his career. Let's also be fair that Goff in 2 years from now is going to be commanding somewhere in the neighborhood of roughly 43 to maybe 50 million a year. I mean, somewhere in that range. And do we feel that Goff at that age, with that salary, is going to be the right move for the Detroit Lions? I think we can all agree Richardson has a lot of development still before him. His accuracy, some of his understanding of defenses, etc. But he's got 2 years to come in, sit, learn, develop, and let's all ask this question: how much do we believe in Mark Brunell and the coaching staff? Can Ben Johnson, Brunell, and whoever else help develop this kid? Because if they can, he's a weapon like few others in the league have. So at number 9, we have Anthony Richardson going to the Detroit Lions. All right, so the next big shocker, I'm sure, for everybody is going to be at pick 18. And Robinson, the running back out of Texas, is going to land in Detroit. You can see some of the other picks that were made around him and after him. But here is the thinking out of Lions Talk Live. Goff does well when he has an awesome running game around him. I mean, what quarterback doesn't? But if we really do feel that Robinson is that guy, that he can take the offense to yet another level while providing a stable running game for Goff, and then in the foreseeable future, Robinson at quarterback, why not get him now? Will he get a second contract? I mean, I would say this, if it's me, all running backs probably only get one contract, their original contract in the NFL, and then let them hit free agency. But with this pick here, I think you take the offense to another level. Goff gets better for the next 2 years. And then assuming that Richardson does develop, that's the guy, Robinson, leading the ground attack, helping Anthony Richardson in the future. Now, we know what you're all saying. The Lions need defensive help. What are we doing, spending both first-round picks on offense? Well, part of that first trade, trading down from 6 to 9, gave us a lot of more ammunition in the top 80 picks. And so, as you're seeing on the board, the first of those picks are going to be spent on defense and going to be Devontae Banks. Who is Devontae Banks? Well, he's a roughly 6'2", 200-pound cornerback, and as you see it on the screen, this kid can fly. What you don't see on the screen is his wingspan is exceptional. This guy's got some arms and length, coverage ability like few others. So at 4.35 seconds of the 40-yard dash, 6'2", a good solid 200-pound frame for a cornerback. He can lay the lumber. He's got wingspan. He's got speed and jets. He excels in man-to-man coverage principles. We think that this would be a nice part for the Lions to help work on that secondary and start building up what already was a very young defense into making them a little bit younger, a little bit more athletic, and a little bit longer. All right, going on to the next pick, and if you've watched Lions Talk Live, it will be no surprise to see that we have projected Eli Ricks to the Lions. We love this kid. We think he's an absolute steal, and just like the pick before, you've got another 6'2" corner. He's not quite 200 pounds, but he's just a little bit below. Ran the 40 at the combine at just under 4.5, came in at 4.47. So we'd like to see, just these two be the building blocks for that secondary, along with Kirby Joseph and, some of the other players we have, like, Jerry Jacobs, etc. We think this gives the Lions length, speed, coverage, just a lot of positives. And let's be fair, the Lions had a ton of young players out there starting and getting major minutes for them. These two added to the secondary gives us a real boost and a real problem for every team that the Lions are going to face. All right, we're going to keep on moving here to pick 55, and that's where we're going to get Derek Hall, the edge/linebacker from Auburn. 4.5 second 40-yard dash time. He's got some size at nearly 260 pounds. He's 6'3", and this guy can get after the quarterback. I'm not going to say he's James Houston, but he's another guy with size, bulk, speed, a little bit of bend, maybe not quite the same bend that Houston has in the ankles and the lower body, but this guy can contort his body, get around blockers, and get to the quarterback. I'm sure we're all aware in this mock draft, Justin Fields stays in Chicago. And let's be honest, you're going to be facing this kid, the Bears are telling us, for the foreseeable future. You're going to need people that can get to the quarterback and keep up with the quarterback. So we think this achieves that for the Lions. Now in the second round, you've gotten a guy who can get to the quarterback and two guys who can defend the pass with considerable length. All three of these guys have speed and athleticism to burn. All right, moving on to the next pick, and that's going to be 61, and that's going to be J.L. Skinner. Who is J.L. Skinner? Safety/weak side backer out of Boise State. This guy did a little bit of all. You can see on his stats, he's able to pick passes. You'd like to see a little bit more tackles out of him, but a lot of that is from the schemes they ran. So at 6'4", 220 pounds, a guy that can run, another guy sub 4.5. He was clocked in at 4.49 seconds. So again, 4 straight guys here, all in the second roundish, that can get after the quarterback, defend the pass, and have flexibility. You know, whether you're talking about Skinner playing weak side back or safety, you know, you've got Hall, who's able to play linebacker and rush the quarterback. You've got versatility, and I know we all are aware of this. The Lions want, especially on their defensive side, guys that can play multiple positions, and we definitely are seeing that trend here with these picks. All right, we're moving on to the third round here and pick 81. And I think this is just a home run win for the Lions. The Lions are going to get at pick 81, A.T. Perry, wide receiver from Wake Forest. If you're unfamiliar with this guy, let me give you a little bit of information. He is 6'5", 205 pounds. He runs the 40-yard dash at 4.47. And let me tell you, bigger frame, he's got great vertical leaping, huge hands, can get separation on the vast majority of the DBs you're going to see. And unlike anything the Lions currently have at receiver, this guy is just a mammoth target who can burn defenses going either vertical and in or just straight down the sideline. So this is a huge area of need, in my opinion, for the Lions, because they just don't have that huge deep threat. And, well, with selecting A.T. Perry, they now do. All right, the Lions now have a little bit of a lull until their next pick, but as you can see, it's already up on the board. The phone has rang. The card has been taken up to the commissioner, and at pick 132, Alex Forsett, the offensive lineman from the Oregon Ducks, is going to come on into Detroit. 6'4" senior, 312 pounds. It's got just real nice hand size. Check out, if you get an opportunity, go to YouTube or wherever you want, pull up some video on this guy. He understands how to win at the line of scrimmage, how to displace defenders, how to use leverage. There's a lot of good things about this guy. The one thing I do believe he's going to have to develop a little bit more is a little bit more understanding of how to control his footwork, especially if he's going to be moved inside, as I would anticipate he would be with the Detroit Lions. He'd probably get moved to guard, but we'll wait and see. But the Lions need some depth. They've got a lot of offensive linemen who are free agents this offseason. If they can't re-sign them all, that's where someone like Alex Forsett's going to come in and help provide a little bit better depth, a little bit of salary cap relief, and a lot of youth movement across the entire team for the Detroit Lions. All right, moving on now to the next pick, and that's going to be 154, 154, Dorian Williams, the linebacker from Tulane. Now, unlike Hall, Williams is a straight linebacker. He does not show a ton of ability to get after the quarterback, but they do use him in blitzing situations. You know, I wouldn't say he's a natural pass rusher, but he is someone with his sub 4.5 speed that understands how to shoot holes, how to get after the quarterback, and a lot of that, if you watch it on film, is going to be from schematic principles that Tulane used. They used him well in the ability to rush the quarterback out of blitzing situations. He hits like a linebacker should, forcing fumbles. And unlike the vast majority of Detroit Lions linebackers over the last, I guess you could say since the late 90s, this guy actually has some coverage abilities. So somebody who can shoot gaps, somebody who can hit hard, and somebody who's got would already be one of the better coverage linebackers for the Lions. He's 6'2", 225-ish, depending on what site you're looking at, and runs the 40-yard dash at 4.49. I'm liking the selection here. All right, as the Lions continue this youth movement across the draft, and hey, let's be fair, Brad Holmes in his time here has drafted incredibly well, and we suspect this pick here, round 6, 183, Jake Moody, kicker from Michigan, continues a trend that Holmes has had from day one. Get better regardless of the position. Yes, Badgley was a good kicker for us this year, But is Moody going to be better? I'd say at 6th round value, he's going to provide a boost to the kicking game, a bigger leg, perhaps a little bit more accuracy on the, say, 45 and longer field goals, while getting a little bit younger and a little bit cheaper at the position. Let's be honest, part of the GM's job is always managing costs going out the door. So we were able to get better, younger, and get cheaper. Jake Moody, kicker from Michigan. All right, and the last pick of the 2023 NFL Draft on this mock draft 3.5 is going to be Juice Struggs. That is the offensive lineman from Penn State. He's 6'3", 310 pounds, and he is going to be a bit of a project. He's got a lot of good physical attributes that work well for him, that I think make him attractive for somebody that we're going to be putting on the depth chart, somebody who's going to have to develop, like many offensive linemen, better understanding of how to use their hands and contain defensive players with their feet. So with that being said, the value here seems to be getting depth. Like we said before, Lions have a lot of offensive linemen who are free agents. They're probably not going to be able to retain them all, so you're going to have to replace some of that depth, and Juice seems to be the answer here. Great value at pick 194. All right, well, there it is. I know some of you are going to come after me. Some of you are going to think this is the most brilliant mock draft ever. All of us are going to be looking to say, hey, this guy should be taken off the air. Whatever it may be, what did you think of this mock draft? If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, go ahead and consider hitting that subscription button. Maybe leaving a thumbs up and leave some comments in the section below. But please be respectful of each other. Don't attack anybody. Remember, all this is a simulation. All of this is best guess at this point. We'll know in about 2 months what the Lions and the rest of the NFL are going to do with their draft picks. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hope we all had something to talk about. You got to learn about a few new players that maybe you hadn't yet known. Whatever it is, I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Lions Talk Live.